Hello everyone, welcome back to Gent Watches. Today we are going to be continuing with our Ashi. This will be episode 20 of the show, and I am so excited because I think we might be getting started the match we've all been waiting for. I can't remember the name of the other team. In fact, I can't even really remember the name of our team, but it doesn't matter. Aoi's team against the Canada's team, the awful team. Well, I guess the team's probably not awful. It's just Canada that's a douchebag. But I'm just so excited to go up against them. I think it's going to be so much fun. Possibly be incredibly satisfying if they win. If they lose, it's going to be very devastating, but also interesting. Like it could go either way. There's no plot armor in my mind for either team. I think either team has a good chance to win this match. So if that's what's starting in this episode, I feel like it might be starting in this episode because they had enough setup where there's not much time, I think, between the match and where we left off in the story, I think. So I'm super excited. I also realized today, or like 10 minutes ago as I was setting up for this video, our Ashi is the longest running series on this channel. And I mean that because the first video I ever posted on the channel was an aoashi video. The very first video was episode 1 of aoashi. So when this show comes to an end, or when this season comes to an end, that's a historic moment. That's the first series from the channel, and the last episode of it. Like that's an entire thing from start. I could just end the channel there and just call it the aoashi channel, you know? Like, it's not the most popular series on the channel, but I enjoy doing it a lot, and it's what got it started, so it holds a special place in my heart. So if you're watching these aoashi videos, please let me know in the comments, and if you're still watching them and still enjoy them, please let me know that you still like these videos and stuff, because like, I'm not going to stop doing this. I'm going to watch the rest of the season, no matter what. If it's not getting any views, I'm still going to post these videos because I love this show. And it's sort of solidified its spot on my channel. So please give the video some love if you love it as well, just to, you know, make sure that it justifies it being on the channel. So we're gonna get into this episode. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as I said, and also go to my Patreon account if you want full-length reactions and early access to certain videos, and a lot of exclusive videos on there as well. So go check all that out. Let's get into this episode. This is episode 20 of our Ashi. Ah, that's right. There? Why are you being cryptic? We're a team. Come on, Tagashi. Okay. Oh, this is a flashback. It's okay, man. Aww. What's the line? Really? I guess that makes sense. Whoa, look at him. He inspires a lot of people. I love it. Everyone wants to work with him, and I don't blame them. Squinty. Man, if they didn't tell me that was Tagashi, I probably wouldn't recognize him. Okay. It looks fun. Hmm? Whoa? Oh! Oh, that was a good play, but he... Whoa. He turned a good shot into a great shot, man. That was a good pass. Oh my god. I wonder if this is feeling inferiority? Or feeling like it's an exclusive club, like they exclude people, you know? That makes sense. Ah. Yeah, they're not being dicks about it. They just have a way of doing things that only include their own group. Yeah, I think it was a good pass. Man, he's a bit more proddy than I thought he was. But maybe that's mostly him as a kid. I mean, they did some growing up after this. That's not what he wants to hear. That's not what he wants to hear. Okay. I sort of get why Togashi did not like these guys straight away. Man, we're not getting the match in this episode. This is all Togashi flashback. Nice, yeah, those are good passes. Ah. I see. Okay. They're being conservative and I guess trying to look like, you know, they play in a certain way. Togashi is really picking fights though. He has always picked fights. I think Togashi has some good points, but he's still not expressing them well. Ah, interesting. Whoa, Henry, hey. You're playing soccer to go pro, but not to win. That's interesting. You slacked a bit there. Oh, nice. Oh! Go for it. Just go for it. Nice. He went for it. Yeah, but Togashi just goes for it. He wants to win the game that's in front of him now. My life is over? Dude, how old are you? Oh my god. Okay, I get it. Me too. I think that's how I feel as well. Aww, Henry. Yeah. Ah! That's not cool. That's not cool. I liked Anri and Togashi having their moment, but now I don't think he's right for Anri right now. Aoi will be fine. He'll be fine in the second half, I reckon. Okay. That's also true. He knows. Yeah. Good on you, man. Hell yeah. Togashi got to him a little bit, huh? He's stepping into the light. Metaphors, bro. Metaphors. Oh. Wow, are you adding more stakes and intrigue to that match? Oh my god. So they didn't give us the match. They delayed the match by giving us backstory instead. But I can't be mad because it's good backstory and it's pretty important backstory, I think. Here's the thing. I have to actually like actively stop myself from getting sad or upset or feeling like blueballed by episodes like this, because this is a technique that shows use, right? They build up this match and then, like, you know, before the thing that you're waiting for happens, they give you this other thing that's happening. And I always have mixed feelings on it, you know, because I'm like, yeah, I maybe, you know, want to see this stuff, but I was ready for this stuff. But like when I look back on it when rewatching it, it's not as bad to me, and I actually sometimes think that it was like necessary, or it really added to my enjoyment of the actual thing. So I feel like I am just going to be completely okay with this episode because I know that it will probably increase my enjoyment of the match, and the more my enjoyment is increased of that match, the better, because I'm so excited for it. But yeah, like, because if I look at like Haikyuu and stuff, like there's times in Haikyuu when I'll be watching the match and I'll be super into it, and then they'll go into a flashback and I'll be like, no, I just want to see like how this point goes. Like I'm just clenched and I'm excited to see how the point goes, and in my head I'm kind of like, okay, flashback, let's get back to it. But the further I got in the show, the more I was like, no, a flashback is a good thing. A flashback means you're going to learn something really important about this character that is going to make whatever you're waiting for worth it. So pay attention to the flashback, because it will, what they're doing, it's like if you, the best analogy I can give is if someone had like a piece of meat, a steak or whatever, and the person brought in the raw piece of meat, and you're looking at it and you're watching them as they're bringing the raw meat like through the hallways and into the kitchen, and you're watching them as they you know, get all their supplies ready and they get the frying pan out or whatever. You're watching them as they turn on the heat, and then they take out the steak and they put it into the thing, and you're watching as they're cooking the steak, and you start to smell it at this point. The steak smell is so good and you just can't wait to eat that. And then as soon as the steak's done, you're like, I want to eat it. I want to eat it right now. Give it to me right now. I want to eat it. But they don't. Instead, they start to season it, and they start to make sides for it, and they start to, like, you know, they start to do all of the stuff to make the steak better. Because if you just immediately ate that steak, it would be good. It's steak. You can't it's not going to be that bad at steak. So you're going to eat it and you're going to be like, that was good. That was really good. I'm glad I ate that. Or you could eat the steak nicely seasoned with sauce, a side of, mashed potatoes and whatever, and eat all of that together, and it is going to be out of this world. That's what I feel like this is. And I think that's a pretty good analogy. That's what I feel like this is. The flashbacks are them putting the seasoning on the steak. And so it's like, I can tell them, like, no, I don't want that. By skipping the episodes or whatever. But it's not going to taste as good. It just isn't. Unless I pay attention to what's going on here. So I'm okay with that. And it was a cool episode because we learned more about Togashi. And they did a good job at making that flashback in such a way where, everyone was kind of dicks in that story. Everyone was annoying and kind of bad and stuff. But they were also irritating kids, and I think they all regret it on some level. And the show hasn't really chosen sides necessarily. The characters have chosen sides, but the show hasn't. The show is just like, here's the situation, and it's just kind of shitty for all involved, but here's what it is. And so it's like, yeah, Togashi had a right to feel the way he did, but also the other guys weren't necessarily doing much wrong, and Togashi was initiating a lot of their conflict, so everyone's in the wrong a little bit, but everyone is suffering a little bit, I suppose. So yeah, interesting. But I do really like that idea of Togashi sees these guys as guys that are playing in a calculated way. They are not playing to win. They are playing to go pro. And the difference there is if there was a match on the line, but the match but in winning the match they would sacrifice a future accolade in their career, they would not do it. They would not win the match. They would purposefully lose the match to get that accolade. When Togashi, he wants to win every match that he can. He wants to, the challenge that's in front of him, he's going to win it, no matter what. So Togashi plays more recklessly. He's a hustle player. He's the one in basketball. He's the one that's going to dive into the crowd to try to retrieve a loose ball and throw it backwards, even if it means he could potentially step on someone's foot in the crowd and roll his ankle or whatever. Happens all the time. When other people, they're like, well, it's going out already. I'm not gonna risk injuring myself to get the ball back in. Is either player right? Not really. The player that's letting it go out, it's not his responsibility to put his health in danger. But the player that's putting himself in danger, he doesn't have to settle for a loss. He doesn't have to settle. He's putting his heart into it. So both players are in the right, really. That's the interesting thing about sports, people have different priorities in sports, and that's kind of okay, but I can see how that would be frustrating for the characters. Anyway, super excited for next episode now, I guess. I was excited for this episode for the match, but it wasn't this episode, was it? But that's fine. I'm excited for next episode. I think they're probably going to start the match in the next episode, I would think. Unless they're doing more training, which is also possible, but I think they might be starting it. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and go to my Patreon account to get full length and early access and exclusive videos. All on my Patreon account. Please make sure to go over there and do that. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.